The Pixel 6a is finally out. The Samsung Galaxy A53 will be the second phone in this comparison, and we will also invited the Nothing Phone 1 over to round up our list. Which of these phones will take the mid-range crown in this comparison? Let the facts speak. So, first things first, I'm sure you've heard of Surfshark VPN. If you haven't, then you're missing out. It's a user-friendly, low-cost, high-quality VPN to protect your information while you're surfing the web and also against hackers and phishing attacks. Now you might be thinking, I haven't used a VPN ever and nothing's really happened. Well, a lot of stuff is actually happening in the background that you have no idea of. You've gotten so used to giving away your data to people that don't even ask for permission that you're not aware of just how much of you is on the internet. I was the same until I finally decided to give it a try and realized just how much it protects me online. I've been using Surfshark for a few months now and I'm quite pleased with the service. You can just hit one button and immediately connect to the closest server and browse the internet completely anonymous. One subscription gives you access to unlimited devices, so your family can also benefit from the same protection. You can choose from hundreds of servers in different countries, even if they don't have a physical server there. Most importantly, you'll be able to watch Netflix, Hulu, and other streaming services from any country you want, and also have access to the content that is locked to a specific country or region. Click on the link in the description if you like what you've heard, and you can also use our code VERSUS for 3 months free and to get an 83% discount off the full price, which brings the subscription down to only a little over $2 per month. Thanks for paying attention, guys. Now back to our camera comparison. You watched our videos of the Pixel 6 Pro. While enjoying this comparison, also try to remember the performance of the flagship to compare to the Pixel 6a. I already see a similar trait, and that's the focus being on point for the most part. The Nothing Phone 1 is, as I talked about the other day, with a softer approach to the photos. The Galaxy A53 is also holding up pretty well, but let's take a look at this photo to see a few big differences and traits that will persevere in other photos. My arms and my face are the main focal points, with Google in the middle keeping them pretty sharp and focused. Samsung is doing something similar with more brightness and also quite different white balance values. Nothing is keeping it soft as usual and prefers to focus on details close to my face. Now that we've learned these, the next photo will tell you a lot. Check out the yellowish tone on the left, which is accompanied by the extra brightness that was also in the previous photo. The one on the right is softer than the other two and is a good example of the Nothing Phone 1's inconsistency due to the strength of the shadows that removes the clarity from half of my face. The photo in the middle is kind of a mix between them and is the first sign that the Pixel 6a is producing good quality photos in this competition. I especially like how the color of my skin isn't randomly bright or dark, but at the same standard, which is a similar one to the photos taken by the Pixel 6 series. Another good example this time is the Galaxy being darker, Nothing being brighter, and the Pixel kind of lingering around in the middle. I think it's fairly obvious which phone I prefer for the main lens, as the color accuracy and balance of brightness along with the shadows, so let's take a look at the ultra-wide photos. There's no doubt that the performance of the ultra-wide lens won't be the same level as the wide one, but the Pixel immediately looks to be a step ahead with a significant difference in quality, as you can see here when you take a look at my facial features and also the tree in the background. It also has the most consistent focus and attention to detail, with the Galaxy A53 kind of following in its footsteps, as it looks to have a higher quality and better optimized ultra-wide camera than the Nothing Phone 1. Google will take the gold medal for photos, which is very surprising, and Samsung will take silver with a better performance compared to Nothing in ultra-wide. 1 down, 10 to go. I'd be amazed if we saw some good results from the portrait category, but it is definitely going to be a hard one because the Pixel series was kind of disappointing in camera modes that required quite a bit of software intervention. As the A53 and the Phone 1 are both mid-range devices, no one will be expecting an S22 or an iPhone 13 performance. That being said, it could have definitely been better. I mean, take a look at this one. The one on the right looks so much better than the others, right? Well, I think the reason for that is because the Galaxy and the Pixel try to do so much to the photo that it sometimes ends in a blunder. How about this one? While the automatic bokeh is almost not there on the right, the other two have just blurred the background so much that it's hard to look at them and think that they're pleasing. Regardless, the Galaxy does have nice photos most of the time and also showed a really good performance in the portrait selfies. Unlike Google, they managed to keep the colors close to how they originally are, so they'll be tied with Nothing in this category while Google comes in third. As soon as we start the first video, I'd like to freeze the frame right here. I love how this first video is just so clear with minimal details on all of the phones so that you just see all that you need to see. What I see is a pretty sharp video on the A53 and a softer and for some reason darker video on the Phone 1. What do I see in the middle? I think I see the video that I like. It's definitely brighter but not too bright, and also has an adequate amount of detail. Don't count nothing out just yet, because this phone even took a better video than the iPhone 13 Pro Max and the Galaxy S22 Ultra in the first comparison that we had with this phone. Kind of a spoiler alert, but check out the second video. When the lighting is just right and the subject is close to the camera, the phone 1 can do some insane stuff. I'm not a fan of the reddish skin tone in the middle, and the A53's contrast is pretty high. I will say it again, if they're able to fix a couple of issues that the phone 1 has with videos, with the most important one being the shaking and the jittering of the footage, I'm gonna be hyped. The same goes for the third video, as I like the video quality on the right side quite a bit. Ultra-wide won't change my decision, as the Pixel 6a's camera is better than the others, as it manages to keep the visuals bright and watchable. Even flagship ultra-wide cameras are sometimes not the best, so well done to Google for putting in the effort. While I prefer to watch rear camera videos of the phone 1, the problem I mentioned with the frame moving around even if the phone is perfectly still is honestly just disappointing. I'm sure they will fix this soon, but until then, Google will take the 3 points and nothing will take 2, because it seems that Samsung's device has the same software problem from time to time, which is really visible in the first and second videos. What's not visible though is gonna be my face when we turn up the zoom all the way, which I imagine what's gonna happen because no optical zooms over here, so the obvious recommendation is to hold your horses at 3x, and why Samsung and Google battle it out because nothing is kind of falling apart. 4x does make Samsung very dark though, as 5x is just meh on all of them, with 10x being straight up unusable. The Pixel is just the most consistent one here ever so slightly, so it'll be in front of the Galaxy once again, but no stopping here as I'm gonna spin the phone around 180 degrees to check out the front camera. Now I don't know if you're surprised, but there's a huge difference in quality straight off the bat. The footage in the middle looks more like a flagship front camera than a mid-range one, but that's definitely not the case for the photos on the left and the right, which is a definite plus for the Pixel 6a. Nothing did look like they optimized the focus better when the video first started playing, but the software trying to adjust the HDR doesn't look the best, so Google will easily take the front camera category with nothing coming in second. The biggest disappointment is that this mid-range phone of Samsung can actually shoot video with the front camera in 4K, but the lack of optimization of the focus continues to be an issue. There's also issues with stabilization during little movement with all of them, whether it's the stabilization just being straight up bad, the weird motion blur effect on the Pixel 6a, or the phone 1 constantly shaking. I'm just not sold. With stabilization turned on, Google shows us that it has adapted the skills of the flagship directly to the mid-range phone. Samsung has done something similar with Super Stable, but Google is just the king of this category, so there's no choice for me to give them 3 points, with 2 going to Samsung. In slow motion, nothing has a short end of the stick, as the 120 FPS doesn't change regardless of the resolution, while Samsung can go to 480 FPS with a super slow mo. The quality is definitely up there as well, so it will be an easy win for them here, as Google ends up being better than nothing with its 240 FPS. It won't always be better though, as naturally the 6a doesn't have a macro mode or a lens. Even the flagship doesn't have one of these, so naturally I'm not surprised. Samsung's macro mode is quite good for a mid-range, and nothing is also trying its best but not being able to capture the same quality of Samsung. The points here should be obvious to you, but a quick recap nevertheless: 3 for the A53, 2 for the phone 1, and 1 for the 6a. Autofocus is going to be showing us the phone 1 actually reacting a bit faster than the other two, as it had also shown a good performance in this section when it compared to the other flagships. Samsung is going to come in second, as Google has the slowest reactions when focusing. Audio, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. We're doing another audio test here with the Samsung Galaxy A53, the Google Pixel 6a, which was just recently released, and, as you know from the previous videos, the Nothing Phone 1. The Phone 1 is as usual not up to our standards in terms of mic quality. While it does completely block out the background noise, my voice sounds artificial. The 6a's mic quality is nice, but I really like the audio quality of the A53, as it barely changes anything and sounds the most natural. Final part is up next, and I feel it might be a struggle because night photos are almost always causing problems for our contestants. At first glance, it looks like the Pixel 6a will have the best photos because of the adequate brightness and attention to detail, but I quickly realized that pretty much all of them are under a certain standard. While the color accuracy is definitely the best on the photos in the middle, there's a slight blur in some of the photos. This issue isn't specific to the Pixel though, as the Galaxy has this problem in a few photos as well as the Phone 1. Ultra-wide shows us the color accuracy shifting even more towards the Pixel, as the other two are really underwhelming, but this time, the blur gets even stronger, so it gets even harder to see the details. Photos won't give us a clear winner, as I'm not content with any of them so far, and it's time for night videos. I wanted to do some funny stuff so that you could laugh, but I guess what you'll be laughing about is how there's this thing moving around, waving his arms around with a flashlight. In the second video, Snoop Dogg is dancing and surfing on a board. I just felt like I needed to tell you this because otherwise you might not understand what's going on. Ultrawide is gonna be even funnier, and I tried to put the flashlight above my head a couple of times so that you can see me in the video, but overall, my advice is just not taking videos at night, especially with mid-range phones that don't have the very advanced hardware and optimized software. All three of them will be tied here as we arrive at the final results. The winner is the Google Pixel 6a with 24 points, and it was a tight race with the Samsung Galaxy A53 with 23 points. The Nothing Phone 1's camera has lost the mid-range comparison as well with 18 points. I really do hope they upgrade their software for the future so we can see them making some moves. Make sure to drop a like and a sub so you never miss our fun and informative videos, and we'll see you next time.